today we're gonna do a local explorer bingo. So this is something you can do if you're just going a walk around your local area, you know, around your neighborhood or anything like that, and just see how many things you can find that, you know, are to do with your local history and heritage and things like that. So if we go this way, so here we can see that this building's got old signs on it. And so on your local explorer bingo sheet, which looks like this, we've got a sign for graffiti. So that old signage up there would count as your graffiti. It's sort of what kind of marks have people made in their place. And you know, that's historic graffiti, but you could also think about what kind of graffiti can you see now, and that's somebody still making their mark on a place. And so, you know, keep an eye out, see if there's any faded old signs. When I walk in here, I go past one that's got an old faded Odeon sign. It's no longer a film cinema, but you know, you can still see the sign. So another sort of thing you can keep an eye out for is buildings that have a date on them for when they were constructed. So this one here, you can see it says Electric Tram Offices 1900. So we know that this was sort of set up in about 1900, and you can see it's got some nice decorative elements over the doorway, and you've got the signage on top of there, so you'd be able to cross that off your bingo as well. So something else that you might notice are alterations to buildings. So on this one, you can see that you would have had a window here, and at some point they've bricked it all up. So you can still see the top part, and you can still see the windowsill, but they've put in this brickwork, and you can see that it doesn't join up with these other bricks. These are all nicely linked, and you've got that nice sort of line there showing you where they filled in the windows. So you might find it for windows, you might find doors, you might find where they've replaced parts of a wall, anything like that. That can be sort of repairs done or alterations to buildings. You might find a damaged building. You might find sort of decoration. Maybe you're walking past a pub and it's got a sign, you know, or I know I've been past one where they've got a bunch of wool outside because it's called the wool pack. And so, you know, you might find something like that. One of the other things you might find is a fountain or a plaque, and we've actually got both here, which is quite nice. And so just keep an eye out for things like this as you're going around. You might not necessarily notice it the first time, so it's quite good if you're going around to just keep an eye out for things you might not have noticed before. So we're doing quite well on our graffiti. We've managed to cross off, well, not on our graffiti, on our bingo challenge. We've got graffiti, we've got repairs, we've got a drinking fountain, we've got a plaque, we've got a building with a construction on it, with a construction date on it. So it's doing quite well. Right, so if you want to do the Local Explorer Bingo Challenge, you can go and find it on the website, and they've also got more details on exactly what it is that you might find and what you're looking for, and helpful hints and that sort of thing. Yeah, so go have fun, explore your local area. So if you're doing your Local Explorer Bingo and you're going around, you might see sort of buildings that interest you, and what you could do is you could look up historic pictures of the area so you can see what it looked like before we built, you know, any buildings here. So I've got an example here, a nice historic picture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and recreate that picture. I'm going to go and take a picture, and then I can go back and compare and see how things have changed, what's remained the same, what do we still have, what looks different, and you can tie that into your bingo, or you can just do this completely separately if you don't fancy the bingo. So I'm going to work out exactly where I need to stand. It might not be exactly the same as the picture because we've got a road coming, and I'm not going to go stand in the middle of that, that's a bit dangerous, but I'm going to go walk and work out the best spot. I think this will probably do. It's not quite right. I kind of need to be in the middle bit there, but I don't really want to get run over by a car. So you can see I'm in the same area because you've got that building over there is the same as this one here, and that nice red brick one over there just being hit by the sunshine is this one here. And you can just about see this one on the corner there. So I think I'm going to take my picture from here, and then we'll be able to compare it later when we go back inside and maybe print them off. So I'll take my picture, see how that looks. I'm happy with that. So we'll go back in and we'll compare and we'll see what differences we've got, if we've got any similarities, and just how the area's changed. We've now got our pictures printed off, so we've got our nice historic picture, and we've got the picture I took earlier, and you know, not from the same angle, but that's okay. We can still look at the differences. And so we want to see what's the same, what's changed, you know, and we're going to go through that. So basically, we can see on this one that we've got sort of some writing there and there. You know, that one says it's a hotel. That one looks like it's a jewellery shop or a pawnbroker's. And if we look on the more recent one, we can see that we don't have that writing on the walls anymore. So we've lost the signs on this one. We've lost the sign on this one. So we're going to write down that the painted signs are gone. So these are like the graffiti that you look out for on the local explorer bingo. So down the middle of it, you can see we've got a tram line, which we definitely don't have anymore. We've got cars in my one. So we're going to write down that the method of transport is different. So we're just going to write transport, trams, and cars. And you can see in this one as well, not only is it they got the tram, but they've probably got like a horse and carriage kind of thing right there in the middle. And so this has got quite a few people. There's not that many people in mine obviously at the moment because all of our shops are shut. But there's a man there, so you can see him. But you can see, looking at the picture, that they're dressed in maybe not quite what we would wear nowadays. So we'll put in that they've got different clothing. And it might be worth asking your parents or your grandparents, you know, what sorts of clothes did they have to wear growing up? What did the streets look like? You know, what was it like when they were young, and seeing how it's changed from that. What else have we got? Well, we can see this building here, and we can still see it there, and it looks like it's under construction in this picture. And this picture is from about 1898, I think. So it's over 100 years old. And so we've got the same building there, so you can see it's still standing. It looks mostly the same, to be honest. So we're going to put some buildings. So I don't know what that one's called, but you know, if you've printed them out, you could just do it like a circle, sort of same and difference. It's the same with this building over here. You can still see that it's standing, so it's still over here, but it is slightly different because on this picture, it's got all these little decorations at the top. We don't really have that anymore. So we're going to say some of the decoration is different. So we're already on 5 things. And what else? Well, you can see, what have we got? Well, you can see the street light up here with a seagull on it, which looks a little bit different from the street light we've got here, which is quite a lot shorter, and it doesn't sort of come over the road quite as much. So we'll say different street light. What else? Well, you've got different road markings, but we've sort of got that with the tram. Even the pavement's slightly different, but you can't quite tell. What else have we got? Well, the shop frontages have changed a little bit. So even though we know that this is the same building as this one, it doesn't look quite the same at the bottom where you've got the shops. So now we've got sort of these roller blind shutters. And you didn't quite have that there. You've got slightly nicer decoration. So we can put shop frontages on our list. And it might be worth looking, seeing, have they got signs hanging out the front? Have they got painted things like there? Is it bright and neon and lit nowadays, like your takeaways? What do they look like? What else have we got? Chimneys. Let's see. Well, the chimneys look fairly similar, to be honest. Doesn't really look like they've changed at all, so I'm going to put them in the same category. anything else? I think. There we go. There's one. Are there any new buildings or buildings that are missing between your pictures? So I don't think we've got any missing buildings in our pictures, but what we do have is a new building. So here, where we've lost the writing, we've got a new addition nowadays. So I'm going to add that there's a new building. You might find that there aren't new buildings, but you might be missing a building. So you might go around and find something very similar, but this one's missing, or that one's missing, and you might go, okay. What else have we got? Not really sure. I think that might be. We've managed to find 9 things, so it's not quite 10, but it's close enough. So see how many you can get, and send us in your results. Send us in your pictures, so that we can see the difference. You can do a compare and contrast sort of thing. So if you're, really interested in archaeology and you want to get involved in another way, then you can always try and volunteer on a dig locally. There might not be any, but you can always ask and see if there's going to be any upcoming. Sometimes there are. So have a chat with your sort of local archaeologists or your museum service or your library, because you can always go and ask to volunteer with them, and they might, if you're not so much into the digging but you are into sort of the maps and the pictures, then your library service or your museum might be a good place, or your local archives. So this is a great sort of thing to do if you're interested in your local history and you want to see how things have changed over time. Maybe you can find some pictures from when your grandparents were younger, or your great-grandparents, and see, can you find their house? Can you find a street that they would have gone down, and see how it's changed, and maybe see what, how life is different for us than it would have been for them. So just have fun looking at old pictures and taking new ones.